inside. I could not background. So it's me. So today I'm lucky to have a gift. This gift has been the greatest support even like with answer. I will later introduce that time to welcome.
My name is Joan Faith Wanjiru Ng'ang'a, mother to George Njoroge Ng'ang'a, known as G. Brown. It's my pleasure to be here today.
You're both welcome. So, itakuwa about a few things to your birthday. So, that's why I brought you here. I wanted to honor you for being a good mom
Thank you.
to me. Because that's how I know that other moms out there who have kids like me. I want you to be kind to share your story, like where it all started. So how, 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 how did you end up being a woman?
To start off, I gave birth to George when I was at a very young age. And when I was pregnant of George, and when I noticed I was pregnant of George, I got shocked because I was still a young girl. And the first person I told was a very close person to me. And the response she gave to me, I wouldn't like to mention that person. The response she gave me was not pleasing because she was kind of telling me to abort because I was still very young. But then I told her I wouldn't like to do. I was just asking her, would you mind me of just aborting, or would you mind if I die? Which is the best? Would I rather give birth to a child even if everyone deserts me at this time, or would I rather be alive or dead? And then she told me, you can never die. She went ahead and planned with her friend on how they would take me to Mombasa so that I abort without the knowledge of my mother. But then I told them I would rather live with this pregnancy. Even if my mother says that I'll not stay in her house, I'll go to an extent of anywhere. But I would not like to abort. Then she told me, the words she told me was like, you know you're a fool. I told her, I'm okay being a fool who is alive, but not a fool who is dead. She went ahead and went to my boyfriend. By then we had not started living with George's father. And she told him the same thing she had told me. That didn't make George's dad happy. And then he came and told me in the evening what the lady was telling him. And he was like, or maybe it's your plan. I told him, no, I don't want to abort. And even if you won't take me in as your wife, even if my mom won't let me stay in her house, I will go. In fact, I told him, Gathie karema gagoa, okuria gakwira, but I'd rather stay with the baby. And then he said, I was the opinion that we keep the baby. Even though your friend was suggesting we do abortion. So I stayed with the pregnancy, and none of the clinics I went that I was told of any problem. But by then there was no scanning. I didn't do any scan. But there was no problem that I was told I had during my pregnancy period. And when I went to give birth to George, on the day that the doctor had said, I stayed for I had a prolonged labor. And that is the reason that the doctor said that made my son to have CP. Because I went to the hospital on a Saturday morning, and I delivered the following day in the morning. He stayed in the incubator for 2 good weeks in the LED machine because he was also said to have jaundice. But after 2 weeks we went home and he was okay. None of the doctors told me that my son had any problem. So I went home as all the other women do. I stayed with my baby. But as I took him to the clinic on the fourth month, they asked me whether he was now starting to support himself and sit down, and I told them no. And they said, okay, let's just wait and see whether he has delayed milestones, he will catch up. But it went on until he was 9 months. That's when I went to the clinic and found that different doctors from Kenyatta Hospital had come, and they were the one who were doing the well baby that day. And they asked me why I laid the baby on the tray, on the measuring tray, instead of letting him sit. I told them he does not sit, he can't sit on himself, by himself. And then they told me why. I don't know. I've been asking the clinic people in this hospital, and they will tell me there's still time. So there and then, that's when they gave me a letter to go and start therapy at Kenyatta Hospital. We started going for the therapy when he was 9 months. That's when we started. We could go and see many doctors there. And I was also introduced by other women in the clinic to go to other places so that we can be doing more of the therapy. I was introduced to Waithaka. There was APDK. So I used to go to the clinics for 4 days. I would rest for only 1 day. Because on Monday I would go to Kenyatta, Tuesday I would go to APDK, Wednesday I would go to Waithaka. There was a clinic at the Chief's camp there. And then on Thursday I would go back to Kenyatta. Then I would rest on Friday. And I would also do some things that, some practice exercises that the doctor would tell me to do at home, like massaging him. Of which one day my mom-in-law came and found me doing him the exercises, and she cried. But I told her, Mom, you should not cry, because one time I'm hopeful and I'm grateful that my son will walk. It was a long journey because carrying a baby, and at that time I wouldn't afford Uber or taxi. I was not that well off that I didn't have a car of my own. So it was carrying my baby on my back to the clinic and back home. And sometimes I would find friends on the road who are not very supportive. They would not be friendly at all. The words they were saying to me would make me go back to the house and cry. But fortunately, maybe by God's grace, there was a lady whom we used to stay in the same plot with. She didn't have a baby, and she had stayed in her marriage for like 6 years, and she didn't have a baby. So whenever she would find me crying, she would just cry more and ask me, why are you crying? Aren't you better? You have a baby. You have been called a mother to someone. Eh?
Yeah.
I wish I had the very most disabled child who is just lying, but be called a mother to someone. So that would make me now get encouraged and stop crying.
Yeah.
But still, when you find the friends out there, they would start giving you words that are...
They mock you.
Yes, they mock you and they tell you, you know what? You don't have to worry. Kids like this die early. They don't go up to the age of 5 years. So as a young girl, I would sometimes ask God, when is my son dying? But on the other hand, I would then say, thank you, Lord. When I meet that lady who was crying, thank you, Lord, let me just stay with my baby. Because I can see I'm more blessed with him than him dying. So that is how we went through until George was 4 years. That is when he made his first steps. And there and then the doctors advised me, the therapists advised me to take him to a nursery school so that he will be motivated by the other kids. And I would ask them, would I take him to a special school? No, they told me to take him to normal school. So I took George to a school where he was very happy. In fact, I had paid for him half day, but he would very much cry when I go for him. He wanted to stay.
Yeah.
So I decided to pay for the whole day, and he was okay. He went to different schools. Then after that, when you finished, you said that you would now concentrate on art alone. Salsa ni Yesu tuimbe tukatuke. Salsa ni Yesu tuimbe. Salsa ni Yesu tuimbe tukatuke. Salsa ni Yesu tuimbe. He has been doing his arts. He has been painting and drawing until he decided to open a YouTube channel.
Thank you very much for that story. Now, I wish to ask you, for me, when I go out for asking to walk out to me and they cry, and when I ask why, they tell me because they have a kid who has disability. So, what should you tell those moms and every other person who's watching? What should you like them to do?
First of all, I wouldn't like to blame anyone because of how they treat their children, because many people go through a lot. Others lack support, and when you lack support from your partner or your family, you wouldn't be able to do anything. For me, I had all the support from my husband and from my mother, especially from my mother-in-law. and all other family members, they supported me. And that is what made me motivated. That is what was giving me moral support at every time.
Yeah.
The other thing I would like to tell them is that even if you have a child who is disabled, please love that child. All that child needs is love, and accept that child. It doesn't matter what kind of... I know it's hard, because even some of the people are the breadwinners. I know it's hard to give everything you have for your child, but give that child love. Just love that child. Just love. No matter how that child is, just love that child. It doesn't take anything for that child but love. Ukimwonyesha tu upendo, hata yeye mwenyewe will feel the love and get motivated. Hata yeye atakuwa, how do I say it? Hata yeye atajikubali na atakuwa na uwezo ya to go out there. You see? Because he or she is accepted at home, ataona every other society is nothing. I'll be free to everyone else, and I'll be happy wherever I'm going because I'm accepted at home and I'm given the love at home. Secondly, I would like to tell the moms who have those kids that it's not the end of the road of having a disabled child. Nurture that baby, because every other child, no matter how the child is, whether able or disabled, and by the way, we are all disabled in different ways. But that child that you can see is disabled is blessed in her or her own way. He or she has her own unique blessing that will get back to you. And that is when you give all the love to that child. If you only love that child. Because for me, I believe where I am now is a result of my son. If you start being harsh to that boy, God will see you in heaven. And you don't know why God has chosen you to be the mom of a disabled
child.
No, you don't know the reason. Maybe it's just a trial that you are in. But if you pass, you will see the benefits and you will see the fruits of loving that child. Yeah.
So, it should, what it say that God gives you something that He cannot do. God cannot give you a pattern you can't take care of.
Yes.
So, that's what my mom said actually. According to the story, I hope you have taken two output things and from here, the biggest take home message is that don't give up and take care of the people who are around you. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know what they're going through. And if you're up there and your friends are not supporting you, you tell all your friends are good friends will support you in every situation. Thank you very much. Subscribe. The more you subscribe, the more I bring more guests. Like, if you can, go to Instagram page. DM me. You can also comment below. Thank you very much. Goodbye.